Hello, and what is going on with all of my people of social media, especially all of my addicts in the world that are still suffering in silence due to their addictions? I am D Venom. Thank you guys for joining me in regard to addiction, relapse, and recovery, soon to be addiction and recovery. Any amount of your guys' positive energy shown on not just this social media platform, but all of my social media platforms are always welcomed. With that being said, let's get into addiction, relapse, and recovery. All right, you guys, I am primarily recording this content to thank the universe personally for delivering her karma as quickly as she did on my behalf. And she delivered that shit quick. I've been trying to tell people in my own little way that crossing boundaries with one of God's chosen ones is the wrong thing to do. But people still feel the need to test those boundaries and cross them anyway. And in this case, my landlord has crossed boundaries with me on several of occasions, and the universe has responded. And the final results is not good for the landlord. Anyway, I also have a gratitude playlist on my YouTube platform dedicated to the spirit realm and the universe that I have not been uploading content on like I should. I also have a gratitude journal for the same purpose that I have not been writing in, considering the endless amount of blessings that I have been receiving. My main reason for reaching out to people that come from a specific background is because people will try to play you stupid because you're associated with certain things. For instance, for some years, I have been a participant in regard to a governmental program called Section 8. And I've noticed along the way, dealing with landlords, a lot of them think that you can't read between the lines and you are stupid, inadequate, or less than smart because you are associated with this program. No different than how a lot of people think that individuals who live in trailer parks are stupid. I've heard jokes in regard to people being stupid that live in the South. I've heard jokes in regard to people, especially men, being stupid that live in Colorado. It offends me to hear that word stupid because a lot of people thought that I was less than smart because I have a detached retina that, pretty much meanders. But anyway, I had to prove to my landlord how stupid my motherfucking ass can be when I went to make that this month's final rent payment, and I recorded all that shit, which I will upload for you guys to see. Anyway, you guys don't know the full extent in regard to the endless amount of bullshit that I've been dealing with in regard to this landlord. For instance, in the living room of the unit I occupy is a old patio screen door, which I will upload for you guys to see, that has been sitting there since last year. For the life of me, I don't understand why it has not been removed. That's not my responsibility to, remove that damn screen door. There was a dead crow by the mailbox area, where I live, a while back. And the landlord wanted us to remove the dead crow. That's not our responsibility. Some people had moved out of a unit where I live, and they left a bunch of shit behind. The landlord wanted us to take care of that instead of them taking care of that. Anyway, the patio screen door since has been replaced, and it was installed wrong. It wouldn't open or close. Instead of them fixing it properly, and from my understanding, the whole frame from the outside has to be replaced in order for the screen door to function properly. Instead of the screen door being fixed properly, they screw it screw it in place, which I will upload for you guys to see. I can understand if it was screwed in place while the screen door is in the shut position, but the screen door is open and screwed in place, so you can't close it or anything. For the life of me, I don't understand why would they do this. I'm getting ready to move out, and I'm pretty sure whatever tenant occupies the unit after I move out is not going to want that screen door like that. They're going to want it fixed properly. This is what I mean by the landlord and their bullshit. Anyway, I remember there was an issue with the circuit breaker switch. I couldn't get it to stay on. It would always switch back to the off position, and it was associated with the hot water. I wasn't getting any hot water. Anyway, the building was up for, to be sold, and the landlord brought over the first potential buyers who opted out of buying it. They were smart. They realized that the property has more wrong with it, and they would probably be putting more money into getting things fixed versus anything. Anyway, the heat wasn't working also during that time, and I confronted the landlord about the situation, and I was using a electric heater to keep the unit warm. Anyway, the landlord got glib at the mouth and said, well, it feels pretty warm in here to me. And the landlord has a huge issue with getting glib and trying to make a person feel inadequate. They went on further to say, after we exchanged words in regard to their comment, I need to teach you how to use the circuit breaker switch. And there was a little bit of laughter in regard to the then potential owners. Anyway, my eldest sibling was on the phone with me during that time, and I remember I came unglued, and my eldest sibling snapped the fuck off and said, is that how the landlord talks to their tenants? And I just remember from the time that remark came out of their mouth, I continued to remain unglued until their backs were turned to me walking out of that motherfucking unit. And I kept the door open, and I continued to remain unglued. This is one example out of a lot of examples in regard to how the landlord comes at individuals. You should hear him come at his maintenance personnel. Anyway, read your leases, my people. I'm very guilty in regard to not reading my lease. Come to find out, I read my lease, and the lease states that I live in a 3-bedroom apartment. I don't live in a 3-bedroom apartment. I occupy a 2-bedroom apartment. Even though a person can utilize the living room, my grandmother did, and I do now, I sleep in the living room. But the living room is a living room. It's not a bedroom. I can't understand for the life of me why they would have in that lease that I live in a 3-bedroom apartment. When I confronted them about this, and y'all will see it in the video, they allege that it is a typo. If it's a typo, you all did not bother to correct it either. So I could have been paying a little bit more money in regard to this RUBS. RUBS stands for Ratio Utility Bill System. They pay a portion. I pay a portion for them to take care of sewage, trash, or whatever the case may be. Anyway, if I occupy a 2-bedroom and they're stating I live in a 3-bedroom, I could have been paying more money, and come to find out I've been paying 30 cents more because they allege that my unit is bigger than everybody else's unit. But an email that was sent to me by their secretary or whatever states, and I will upload that email, 933 Universal Confirmation. It states in that email that all of the units are equal in size. No. There's an inconsistency because I'm telling y'all, it's a lot of hidden shit in regards to this property management and this landlord. Anyway, The last final straw, before I run out of time, is when myself and the landlord had another verbal exchange, and they ended up disabling the pay feature on the portal. And for the life of me, I don't understand why would they disable that feature, considering that is a guaranteed way for them to get their money. I feel like they did this because it took me a couple of days to make my final payment. I wanted to make sure I was not giving them any more or any less of my motherfucking money. And I wanted to make sure things were calculated. On the 6th day after 5 p.m. is when I would start to accumulate late fees. So I made sure to, drop them some money before then. Anyway, damn, I'm going to have to end this, you guys, because I'm going to run out of time. I will come back in with a part 2 in regard to this situation. But universe, thank you so much in regard to that phone call yesterday morning. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for the ending results in regard to the landlord. I love you. All right, you guys. Namaste.